if you go to India or to a Hindu temple or even to the home of a Hindu, one thing you'll notice immediately is that the images of gods are everywhere. These are called murti. They can be either paintings or posters or sculptures or engravings, etc. And they're oftentimes, or they're almost always, very colorful and extravagant. And their purpose is to focus the attention of the worshiper and provide an object of devotion. And oftentimes, the gods are depicted as having many arms, and in each arm they're holding a different object. This reflects the fact that gods can play many different roles in the lives of Hindus. Now, Hindus don't worship the idols. They don't actually think that the god is completely contained in a statue or in a poster. They do, however, believe that the spirit of the god can be present in a very real way once a murti, typically a statue of the god, has been blessed by a Hindu priest and placed in a temple. And so when they go to the temple and they are gazing at this image of their deity, it can be a very intimate encounter. And they actually believe that their god is looking back at them and is engaging with them in a deepest sense. Hindus choose their Ishtadeva for a variety of reasons. Oftentimes it's based on their family, who their parents worshipped, in their community. In certain regions, specific gods are more popular than other gods. It can be based on your profession. Some gods are identified with certain types of job, or just a personal choice. Another important factor is that just because you worship one god as your Ishtadeva doesn't mean you can't also worship other gods for specific purposes. Because in a way which is similar to how Catholic saints operate, gods effectively have specialties. And so, for example, Ganesha, the elephant-headed god, is the god of travel. And so before you take a trip, you're very likely to say a prayer, perform puja, an act of worship and offering to Ganesha to ensure that you have a successful trip. And you may do that even if your Ishtadeva, your primary god, is Vishnu or Shiva. And that's not considered to be cheating. Hindus do revere cows. They don't worship cows. You can read this, but the bottom line is because cows are seen as the most generous and giving of all animals, and so for that reason Hindus respect them greatly. As I said, Hindu worship is spontaneous and individual, and is not as sort of planned and scheduled and regimented as Christian worship, for example, tends to be. And then darshana, as I said, is this idea of exchanging gazes between humans and their gods. Okay. So, I'd like to just say a few words about some of the major deities. And again, this list is not exhaustive. There are many more gods, but these are some of the most popular ones. There are three gods which comprise the Hindu equivalent of the Trinity, called the Trimurti. Those are Brahma, not to be confused with Brahman, Brahman. Brahma is separate. Now, Brahma is part of the Brahman because Brahman encompasses everything, but Brahma is an individual deity. So he's seen as being the god of creation. As you may recall, for Hindus, the world goes through a cycle of destruction and recreation on a regular interval. Brahma is the god who's responsible for creating the universe anew after it's been destroyed by the god Shiva. In Hindu tradition, Brahma is very important, although he's not worshipped very commonly today. In all of India, there's only one temple devoted to Brahma, and that's mainly because the role he plays is in the distant future, and he won't be a central player in the cosmic story again until after the world is destroyed and needs to be made anew. His consort, and virtually all Hindu gods have what effectively are wives, and so there are gods and goddesses. His consort, Saraswati, is actually more popular than her husband, Brahma. She is the goddess of wisdom and learning and also artistic expression, and so she's very popular with students and teachers and musicians and artists, etc. And in fact, I have a small brass image of Saraswati in my office, because